Cursed City, or as I like to think of it, the most disastrous Saturday morning lie-in of 2021. Hey everyone, my name is Discourse, and today it seems that Cursed City is returning, so join me for an impromptu video as I go over everything about that. So, what does this mean? Well, this afternoon I discovered a Warhammer community post revealing that Cursed City has returned. If you don't recall, Cursed City was originally released this year, so 2021. It was hyped up by Games Workshop, and it was even listed as a permanent item on their range. Games Workshop stores were being told to tell players that there would be tons of support for the game, including expansions and new characters for every single faction in the game. And then the game released and poof, nothing, zip, nada. The game completely disappeared. Now this doesn't mean that it didn't sell well. It sold really well. It sold out in minutes, in fact. But then it just disappeared. Gone. No more manufacturing runs. In fact, news that the game itself was being transformed into a limited run item from a permanent item came from a customer reaching out directly to Games Workshop customer service trying to find out when the game would be available to buy again. So yeah, it was badly managed and the rug was pulled from under consumers, and no explanation was ever given, and we still haven't gotten an explanation, and it's just hung over Games Workshop for all of 2021. It's pretty much been the low point in GW communication strategy, but now it looks like Games Workshop are releasing the game again. So here's what they have to say on Warhammer community. Good news, adventurers! Warhammer Quest Cursed City, one of the most popular box sets of the last 12 months, will be returning in 2022. Yeah, the number of people who quickly found out that the game was sold out minutes after release give me the impression that it was pretty popular too. And then they have a short trailer here which we'll play. So, not great CGI at all. There were people complaining about the Space Marine 2 trailer a few weeks back, so I think that there's gonna be a few more complaints about the fidelity of this Hammer House of Horrors. But I'm gonna cut them some slack here. This is just a very silly trailer. Although it's pretty sad not to see the return of the cool animation style that they used for the releases last year. Although I can only presume this is because this is just a silly throwaway trailer. Though, you note, they do try to poke fun at their terrible mismanagement of the game with Gone Far Too Soon on the tombstone, and then the release date of Cursed City. You don't get to make these jokes, GW. You did this. You put that body in the grave. Those are our jokes to make fun of you with. Okay, and then they say, this set sold out quickly when it was released. Yeah, and many of you have been in touch to ask if it will be back. Today we can confirm that it will indeed rise again. Yeah, that is one way to put it. If you remember, Games Workshop completely changed their messaging around Cursed City right after it was originally released. Yeah, that was some Oceania 1984 stuff, but we'll touch on that after I go through the community post. There's still some juicy details here I want to run over. And then the post continues to say, for those of you that missed out the first time, this is your chance to get your hands/bestial claws on some of the best Citadel miniatures of 2021, as well as the amazing cooperative Warhammer game. Look out for news on exact release dates in the new year. So no release date given at this stage, but I think that's fair enough. I'm just glad that they're sharing any information with us at all about the game returning. Obviously, there's not a lot of substance in this post, but I think that this type of communication is important for consumers. Cursed City basically became the go-to example for everything wrong with GW's communication strategy this year. So I'm glad that they're learning some lessons, I guess. Plus, if there is someone out there who was just about to buy an overpriced second-hand version of Cursed City, stop. Now they know at least to hold off and won't pay way too much. Although I do kind of feel sorry for anyone who might have done that for Christmas. And then the post ends with, finally, if it's not enough that Cursed City is returning, it will also be accompanied by expansions. So your adventure into Karn can grow and continue with even more dramatic twists and turns. Spoiler alert, Radakar isn't dead. He's just really, really angry. And then this links to something. Oh, of course, it links to a model for £31. Wow. Nothing like using a previous up to, sell some more models. Okay, and that's everything from GW, and it's not a lot, honestly. Although, of course, the reveal that the game is coming back at all is pretty huge, and the fact that they're talking about expansions in this post is really interesting as well. Although, I would like this video to remain as a record of what GW have promised here. Expansions were promised last year as well, and we saw how that turned out. In fact, last year, not only did the game turn out to be a limited run item after all the marketing had said it would be a permanent part of the range, but after the release, GW just never mentioned it again. All the short stories, all the painting guides, there was never mention of another model again. GW essentially tried to gaslight the entire community and just pretend like the game had never happened at all, which was not great. Pretty disgraceful, actually. So yeah, I'm keeping my eye on this one. Two, in fact, as often as I can spare them. I think it's obvious to everyone that Curse City clearly had some major manufacturing issues behind the scenes, although what they were has never been revealed to us mere mortals. And we still, to this day, have not been told anything at all about what went wrong. So, you know, temper your expectations with this game. I'm just saying that fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, never get fooled again. The Games Workshop really should have just owned up to all the issues with Curse City last time. If it was a manufacturing issue, that would have been totally understandable, especially considering the context of April of 2021. There was the impact of COVID on manufacturing, there was Brexit uncertainty that they were grappling with too, and the price of components had raised exponentially. So if they had just said something to the effect of, we hope to release the game again in future, I think that would have allayed a lot of people's annoyance and might have spared them some time and money. And remember, GW screwed over local game stores last time too. They changed around the quantity of stock allocation that was issued out to independent stores at the very last minute. And we're talking about pretty significant changes here. Some stores went from 160 box sets down to 4 or 8. And this was done at the very last second. And it's for that reason that really tips me over into thinking that it was indeed a manufacturing constraint on GW that forced them to stop selling the game. We gotta remember, the cost of cardboard had risen really high in April of 2021. And Curse City comes with a lot of cardboard components. A lot. All of which were being manufactured in China, so it all fits together. Though that's just speculation, and I really hope that independent stores don't get screwed over by GW again this time. And it's kinda interesting, I think that the excitement for Curse City was really muted after everyone realized that there was only going to be one run of the game, and if you hadn't got it in time, you were screwed. Even content for the game online completely died right after launch, and no community around the game really formed. In fact, after it was released, no one really talked about it anymore. And it's all thanks to the fiasco that was the launch. So this re-release might breathe some new life into the game. I mean, Curse City as a product has a lot of potential. I think the co-op experiences in miniature wargaming are huge right now, and they have the ability to onboard board game players and role-playing game players like D&D into miniature wargaming. Now, I will say that reviews of Curse City that I saw in 2021 weren't the most flattering when it came to talking about the gameplay. One of the main complaints I heard was that you could basically kill all the opponents really quickly, and then you were just stuck waiting around hoping that the champion would spawn so that you could just finish up the mission. And there was no chance for the opponents to actually retaliate against you. But that's just what I heard. I never actually got a chance to play the game myself, and I'll be honest, once I found out that the game would no longer be available to buy, I did not care to consume much media about it. What was the point? As far as I was concerned, the game didn't exist. But I suppose now it does, maybe, for a short period of time. I'm watching you, GW, don't bungle this one as well. So here you are, if you were super excited for Curse City before, this is your opportunity to buy it again. Here's hoping that they actually keep to their word and support the game this time. Though please, don't give it the hug of death with too many expansions, like yelling at the sky. We know that it's going to be too much. And hey, you never know, maybe we'll go over the bungled launch of Curse City in a dedicated video. So subscribe to the channel if you are interested in catching that when or if it comes out. And if you'd like to support my consumer advocacy here, please check out my Patreon at patreon.com/discoursminiatures. There you'll be able to find early access to my skits, as well as exclusive behind the scenes content. And as always, a huge thank you to my patrons who allow me to do content like this. Oh, and if you want to see some really cool miniature wargaming t-shirts, check out the merch store, description below. And I will catch you next time. Bye-bye!